What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my disaster of a place. As you guys seen in the last video, we did get rid of the Hellcat, which means Gina doesn't have a backup race car, so I definitely have to get this done now.
Will we?
We will.
Will it actually be built by next year?
Or else she might take things away from me, and I don't want that. So today we're going to work on our 2.5 inch twin turbo piping, which is the piping from the turbos down to the top of the intercooler. We did get an eBay piping kit. I usually just buy these because they're convenient. It's nice to have some extra bends lying around the shop. And it's decent. The only thing that I don't like is it does come bead rolled on the end, so I do end up cutting those off so I can make some nice welds. But I haven't welded aluminum in forever, so we're going to see how this goes. And this video, like all of our videos, sponsored by Black Sheep Industries. Make sure to check us out at blacksheepindustries.ca, and code word Boosted Lifestyle gets you 10% off at checkout on our beautiful wastegates, blow-off valves, all the good stuff. And it's super affordable stuff. I've been using it for seasons with no failures, and we have a ton of them on really fast cars. So make sure to check us out, blacksheepindustries.ca. The link is also down in my link tree below. Let's get started. Just gonna start out and make sure that our intercooler is the same height on each side towards this rail here, because it does have some play in it. 5 inches on that side, and it's low on this side. Now, I'm not saying this is how you should do it. This is just how it works for me. I like to just put some couplers on things, start laying out some pipes, and then get some rough cuts in things. I am going to have to cut out part of this inner fender right here, just so I can swoop in behind it. So cut a little notch right out of here. Probably just use like a blade or something. And actually this side's already cut. It looks like they might have cut it for the intake pipe. So we can probably start with this side. I guess here's a problem with buying eBay stuff. There's like some sticky stuff in here, probably from the mandrel lube or something. I don't know. It's not what you want to see in your hole though. Our first issue is actually going to be getting past the lower radiator hose. I thought there was going to be enough room to go from here, like in between this portion right here, but it turns out that there's not, so I'm going to have to move the compressor housings backwards just a little bit. So to just clock the compressor housing, you're just going to loosen off all the bolts on the front side. I'm guessing the one that I have tight is on the bottom, because that's something I would do. And we just turn it to match that other one. Now I've got this super sick, cheap Amazon digital leveler angle thingamajiggy that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, depending on if you want to like get an angle that it doesn't want to get. I don't know, it's temperamental like that. But I'm just gonna try and figure out the compressor outlet, because the first bend we're gonna have to make is right off the compressor to get that to go straight down. I'll show you. If you look right here, it's tilted this way, but it needs to go straight down this way. So we gotta figure out that angle so we can correct it right away. If that makes sense. It should make sense to you. You guys are smart. This one looks like it's probably going to be pretty straightforward-ish. We'll probably cut a little bit off of this U-bend right here so it gets a little bit tighter into whatever this frame rail is, just in case something fits there. And then it comes down there, and then we just need a 90 to go from down here up to there, and then the little bend that goes up to the turbo upwards. Time to start making some cuts. I'm going to cut probably whatever that distance is, probably 1.5 inches off the end of this one. We're going to use our trusty bandsaw, and if you don't have a bandsaw, I feel bad for you. But if you're trying to weld aluminum, please don't use a grinder, because all like the grit and stuff gets embedded inside the metal, and then when you go to weld it, it doesn't work very good. Unfortunately for me, you can't really cut a U-bend in a bandsaw because of just how upright it is, and it won't fit underneath because I need to cut really short off. So I'm going to half-ass do it on the vertical part. All right, with a couple cuts we got from here all the way down to here, and that would work technically if that bung down there wasn't there. I could possibly move it, but cut this piece right here. We'll add a piece in the middle and extend this out to get it where it needs to be over there. Now we've got a couple pieces here to weld, but before we actually weld these, I have two little scrap pieces here that we're gonna try and weld together just to make sure that our welder is set up correctly, that we're getting the right gas coverage, and that we can get the right penetration, since I haven't welded in a while on aluminum. Once again, if you watch the channel, we have to switch from our FUPA cup into like a number 6 cup for aluminum. Aluminum. Our welder is super loud, but we have to switch from DC to AC. probably end up somewhere around that many amps, maybe. Honestly, not so bad. That'll work for me. Considering our test piece was like, oh my god, what's going on here, blowing holes and stuff, and then I did one of these little majiggies over here, and I was like, oh, okay, we probably got it. A little bit more time behind the shield, I think we could do better. It's just, I'm one man. I do everything around here. I'm the wiring guy, I'm the male model guy, I'm the welder guy, I'm the fabricator guy, I'm the in and up thing. Yeah. Down through here, tucked up under the frame there. And then it comes out somewhere down here. And now we're gonna get our 90. We're just gonna put it down there, mark it, make a cut in it, and see how close we can get. This one's got that sticky stuff inside of it too. But the Moscow Chixie was such a lovely dear. Still partying. We got our last little hook bird here welded up. What I had to do was I just had to make like a 10-degree cut on each piece of pipe just to get our last little bend in. I don't like it, but that's what it is. I probably could have used a piece of a bend to do this, like a smooth transition, but I didn't want to waste a piece of pipe when I could just make something like that. And I'm all about conserving pipe. That's why I don't give her the full thing all the time. I accidentally put my glove on my right hand, so I'm going to try and show you what it looks like with my right hand. Anyways, it's going to join up right. See that piece right down there? That's where it's going to join up. It does a little hook burr right here into our turbo. I'll weld that up and then I'll put it on and I'll show you again. It's still hot, geez Louise. Aluminum likes to hold a lot of heat. I just came up with a cool solution to our weight on our turbo issue. What I might do is I might run a bolt from right here, which is essentially like what the manifold heat shield was attached to, and then maybe weld something to here and just hold it up that way. That would work. Instead of mounting it to the frame or something. Or I can even go from 2 bolt holes in the middle here and then up with a hind joint or something. Yes, no, maybe, maybe. There is one intercooler pipe done. And the only thing we have to do is bead roll this with our handy dandy pliers, if I can find them actually. Channel lock, 709 pliers. Perfect bead rollers. Even though bead rollers are super cheap nowadays, I'm super cheap too. Essentially all you have to do is you take this piece right here and you put it on the inside of the pipe, and then the outside of the pipe goes on there, and you just, you know, kind of indent it. Probably clean them off a little bit. Just see. Yep, just like that. Walk around the pipe, walk it. Not perfect, but there's a turbo bump on the end of that piece of pipe now. Just, it seals on this side anyway, so this side is kind of irrelevant, but just so the coupler doesn't blow off. All right, first pipe going in, see if it fits. See if we can get it to fit anyways. So it goes from here down under here. Pretty tight on the frame rail there, just make sure we didn't hit anything. Underneath the frame rail, up and in. The only thing we were concerned about a little bit is the outlet for the radiator. I can always move it, but I can also probably fit a tight radius 90-degree silicone bend on there and then go underneath the radiator and then up to this piece right here. So with this eBay piping stuff, there's no actual good way to do it. You can't really go by angles and degrees and stuff because the piping isn't exactly 180 degrees, so it's kind of just a lot of like test fitting and cutting and extending, and that song like by Daft Punk where it was like, cut it to the Technologic song. You know what I'm talking about. Essentially what I'm trying to say is we have to recreate this side on this side. Cut our U-bend in the middle, cut a little bit off one leg. If you don't have a deburring tool, get one. Amazon, like 12 bucks. Basically what you do is you put it in the pipe, get all the burrs out of the inside of the pipe. Super awesome for aluminum. Cut down the other leg a little bit, and now we got a U-shaped thingamajigger. Wait. Now we do. All right, we're to there on this side again. We should the same thing on this side as we did on this side, and now we have to build our 90 and then the one little kink up to the turbo. And then I actually put this piece in here just to see what it would look like, and isn't that cool? That looks pretty badass, and you're not gonna see much of the exhaust because the exhaust is gonna go out. The only addition to this whole turbo system is going to be the wastegates. So when you look at it from here, this is kind of my vision. It looks a little bit weird, I think, because where the power steering is on this side and no alternator over here. But I brought my alternator over and I'm gonna put that on, and hopefully it like equalizes out the bay a little bit. It also looks a little bit weird too, I think, because this nub on the radiator, and then there's no boot on that turbo. So with the alternator in place there, this is kind of my vision. They aren't perfectly symmetrical just because of the way like the alternator sticks closer to this side and the power steering pump sticks closer to that side, but in the chassis they are pretty close. Oh man, relearning aluminum is a little weird. Actually, a big difference is going from my Miller to this welder. It's a little bit different. This one welds a little bit different. I don't know if it's just me with more settings and not knowing what to do. The old welder was just like AC or DC, and you just choose the amps, and this one has a bunch more stuff. Like this one can do pulse and stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Pipe number 2, I'm just gonna put the bead roll on this side, put it on the car, and then that's to the intercooler done. I guess if I take my time and I go really small increments, I can make the bead roll actually look pretty decent. I'm basically like a professional. I did cut the tips off mine because then you can get like the inside radiuses too, but you don't have to, and then you can double use them as the thing that they're meant to be. Don't you put it in your mouth, don't you put it in... Remember that commercial? Oh, mine's a goodie. And there you have it, side 2. Comes from here, goes down underneath. Same thing as the other side. Up through here, pretty close to this piece, not touching that bolt, and then into here. It's a little bit off-centered right there. I definitely messed up one bend a little tiny bit, but you know what? Clamps will hold that. My vision is kind of coming true now. This goes pretty close like that. We don't have any 3-inch pipe here, so I can't build that. And then this turbo is a little bit off of this one. My jig apparently didn't work out as I planned it, but... And the thing that makes it look not really centered is that the engine in the Mustangs are actually like 2 inches off to the passenger side for whatever reason. Because I think the diff is actually off-center too. And then the power steering on this side and the alternator on this side, they don't quite equal each other out either. So there's a little bit of weird lookingness, but if you look from, I don't know, from like this angle, it looks cool. And if you look from this angle, it looks cool. It's only right like this that you can really notice the subtle differences in the positions of the turbos. Now, building intercooler piping is pretty straightforward. It isn't that difficult, and I encourage you, if you know how to aluminum weld or you want to learn how to aluminum weld, to do it yourself, because a kit like this is like 150 bucks, I think, something like that. So you can get a bandsaw for probably 350 bucks. It doesn't need to be the one with the liquid in it. It can be like the other one. They just eat up blades pretty quick. A belt sander and a welder. That's basically all you need. And I mean, over time, it'll reinvest in itself, because you can help your buddies make stuff. Like I said, if we had some 3-inch pipe, this one would be pretty straightforward. It just goes around here into a 180. We might have to extend it the same way we did with the other ones. It's going to come out below this pipe, straight over, 90 degrees up, and then into this pipe. We just need some 3-inch pipe. And then I don't know if we're going to do single black sheep blow-off valve or dual. Dual would look super cool, but it would hit this pipe. So it might just be one sticking out on this side somewhere, or if we can get it to clear the hood right in the middle, would look super good as well. And that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure it's like 99 point something% males on this channel. But maybe if I start, yeah, woo! Anyways, thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure you like the video. Peace easy, get that V.